up, fams? Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you're subscribed here, or you just if you're like, well, coming back to my channel, whatever, guys. Anyway, so today we're gonna be doing a quick spoiler-free review of Wicked for Good. At the time of recording, I just got out of the theater and saw it, and these are my quick thoughts on it, and I do have some things to say. So coming up right now, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. All right, guys, quiet on set. Scene 1, take 1. Action. Boom. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you share with your friends, and also hit that bell for notification as well. It does help the channel out. And if you're new here, welcome. Sit down, relax, and enjoy the show. And I would kindly appreciate it if you guys do hit that subscribe button, because I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so let's make that happen, folks. Wicked for Good is basically they're adapting the second act of the Wicked play, and we have Glinda basically accepting to become the Witch of the North, and she's like the most popular character. She's basically the face of Oz, aside from the wizard. Well, of course, now the Alphabet's label now is the Wicked Witch of the West, and of course, you know, if you guys know the story of Wizard of Oz, that's when they're playing the events of the Wizard of Oz, but that's more of a backstory. It's more still forefront on the two characters, Alphabet and Glinda. While they're in conflict with each other, they still love each other at the same time. They know that Oz is corrupt, and they're exploiting that with the themes and messages of the film. So yeah, guys, that is my plot setups. Now let's get on to the review. At first, I was like, I don't know, splitting the two acts into two movies, I don't know if it's a good idea. But here's the thing, they did a good job with the first one with expanding it a bit. Like, I think bringing stuff from the book and expanding the play and all that stuff, because this is a movie, it's not a Broadway show. And for Wicked for Good, they did the exact same thing by adding stuff. So is it as good as the first one? No. I gotta say, overall, guys, if I'm gonna cut to the nitty gritty here, you know, if you guys want to click away and all that stuff if you guys want me to get straight to the point, I overall really enjoyed the film. Very good film, I gotta say, but at the same time, I am left disappointed. But let me start off with the positives here. Ariana Grande, she has a lot more stuff to do here, because it's more Glinda's story here. And Ariana Grande here, she is hilarious, she is fun, her acting's actually pretty good, and she works well with other characters here. Cynthia Rhea, of course, she is still damn good as Alphaba, you know, and also when they're together, this, in my opinion, this is where the movie shines and all that stuff. And the score, the music, I mean, come on, no good deed goes unpunished, no good deed goes unpunished, of course, you know, No Place Like Home, and Change for the Better. Oh my god. And I know I freaking, you know, mislabeled the track numbers, but still, you guys know the second act of the film and all that stuff. You guys know. Then again, I'll just get on to my little niggas in a few moments here. Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh, they return. They're great. Jeff Goldblum has way more screen time as the Wizard of Oz here and all that stuff. And of course, we got some recurring characters in the first movie, having some backstories for some characters that we know and love from the original book, which was interesting at first. And I'll get to that, my negatives here with stuff like that. The pacing is, in my opinion, a bit more faster paced here. I mean, it's a shorter runtime, but the pacing is more faster paced. And while the numbers are not as memorable as the first act, I'll get to my negatives here. While the musical numbers are not as memorable as the first act ones, they're still fun to look at, and a lot of the staging and choreography is amazing here. And I gotta say this, the CGI looks much better here, where it looked a little flat in the first movie. Even though I enjoyed the cinematography and the CGI in the first movie, the special effects, it did look a little flat because of how bright it looked, and I would say it's a bit overblown. Here, since it's a more darker theme, the colors are more pushed back, and it's more darker and more, not muted, but it looks inkier and more vibrant, which I do love that a lot. There's a lot of nighttime scenes where like that with the Emerald City, and it looks gorgeous as hell. So I gotta say, guys, the cinematography was stepped up here a bit, mostly because you can tell this is a more darker tone compared to the first one. And yeah, guys, and it was overall, it's a fun movie. I gotta say, I quite enjoyed the first two acts, and now I'm gonna talk about my negatives here. There's some mixed things here and there too, but I'm gonna get started with my negatives here. As much as I enjoyed the cinematography, as much as I enjoyed the performances with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Rhea, as much as I enjoyed their chemistry together as the characters, they don't get a whole lot of screen time together. Not until the third act. There are some moments where they get together, and it's amazing. Like, they have a funny ass fight scene. Not gonna give spoilers to myself. There's a funny ass fight scene around the second half of the film, and it is hilarious. And again, I want a lot of that, but we don't get much of that. And also, I gotta say, as much as I enjoyed Alphaba in this movie, and you do see her point of view from the story of the Wizard of Oz. She is very one note, and I gotta say, I think Galinda has a bit more character here. She has more of this internal conflict where she's like, she loves this glamour that she's getting, you know, being the face of Oz, but at the same time, you know, she knows this is wrong. And also I also kind of like the messages and themes and basically the politics here of how corrupt, you know, the system is and all that stuff, which is pretty nice. But then again, some of the stuff doesn't really go with that. It's gonna go to my other to another negative I have, is that you know, the scenes where they try to make it a big deal with the whole animal rights thing. You don't get much of that here. Also, there are some, they kind of go back to it when it's convenient. That's pretty stupid in my opinion. And we get to see the characters that we know and love. We see the Tin Man, we see the Scarecrow, we see the Cowardly Lion, who is actually voiced by Coleman Domingo. And I'm not gonna say much here. I'm not gonna spoil much, but they are given backstories in which they kind of don't go back to. And in a way, they play a big, even though they pushed the Wizard of Oz story outside, in a way, it plays a big part later around the second and third act. And that becomes a huge mess there. We're like, okay, we are building this up from the beginning of the film, and yet now we're just gonna ignore it, and then we're gonna bring it back to what's more convenient and all that stuff. I mean, come on now. Like the Tin Man, I gotta say, he is amazing here, and I gotta say, he's an asshole. And we only go back to him when it's convenient, and a lot of stuff, without spoiling much, the way it ends, and not a lot of stuff gets resolved. There's still a lot of stuff that, okay, what happened to this? What happened to that? And speaking of a mess here, the third act, it's like, it's a mess, and they build it up for the first movie and the first act. And I know it's a movie and all that stuff. It's a movie, and they're being faithful to the original play. But then again, this is a movie though. This is, I gotta say, I really respected the being faithful to the original Broadway show. But I gotta say this is a movie. This is a grandiose thing. You could have changed a couple things. And I know the second act of Wicked compared to the first act, it is a mess. It's not as good as the first act. But this was the chance to actually improve on some of those flaws, and they don't really do that. Actually, in my opinion, creates a lot of plot holes here and there. Some of the events that play like the Wizard of Oz, they are, again, the way they're played off, they're played different. In a way, it's a remake too of the Wizard of Oz, not because the ruby slippers now the silver slippers like in the book. No, there are some things, there's some events that they really do change and retcon if they're trying to make this into a prequel of the movie, which is not really. But unfortunately, some people are going to be led to believe that. So they build up all this stuff, and it just ends so abruptly, you know? And with Dorothy, okay, we almost forgot Dorothy. Don't expect her much in this film, because they hyped Dorothy up in this film like in the last one. Especially in the last one, they hyped up Dorothy in this movie. You're going to be disappointed just as much as I was if you're looking forward to Dorothy a lot. So, yep. And before I wrap up the review here, is that there's a plot twist with one of the characters, and I gotta say that was fucking stupid. Pretty fucking stupid in my opinion, really. But guys, overall, guys, even though I respect the themes, I enjoy the performances and the cinematography, and the music is still great too. It is still, in my opinion, a hodgepodge mess. There's a lot of plot lines and plot holes that don't really add up much at the end of the film, because the film just wraps up real quick and all that stuff. And yeah, guys, so with that, I would give Wicked for Good a solid 3 out of 5. That is not a bad rating at all. Some people say, you know, it's a bad rating. It's not. It's above average. So guys, let me know what you guys think of Wicked for Good. And that was my review for Wicked for Good. And I'll see you guys next time. So this is Javi from JAVIWOOD Productions signing off, and hope you guys enjoyed the show. And that's a wrap.